On the phone with us, we got Ginger. She's the DJ who's doing the interview and stuff. So this is Garrett that's on the phone. He's our bass player.
Hey, Garrett.
And then we got, how are you?
Good.
He's also a bicyclist. Yeah, he is a bicyclist.
He has a bicyclist? Okay.
So, but what I'm going to do is I won't be on the call. I'm going to hand the phone over here to the band.
Okay.
Do you want them to introduce themselves to you first so you
Sure.
kind of maybe recognize their voice as they talk?
Sure.
And stuff. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to hand the phone over, and I'm out of the picture.
Cool. Hello, I am Eric Callahan. Oh, sorry. I am Eric Callahan.
I'm Jake, and I play guitar.
And this is Laura, lead singer. Sorry, we're in the car and it's like super loud to me. I don't know if everybody else can hear, but I can't hear very well. But it was funny because Eric took the phone first and I was upside down.
Oh, I wasn't cutting out. I was on the wrong end.
We actually have this cool little game that's going on right now in the band that we actually have a microphone, an actual microphone in here, and whoever is holding the microphone gets to speak. Apparently me. And sometimes I like to play with Eric towards him, and he starts speaking, and then I move it, and he stops speaking. It's awesome. Just like this. You know, I don't believe.
It's like a talking stick. Have you ever seen that game as a kid, the talking stick? Whoever has a stick is the one that has the floor. You have to do that with children so they don't interrupt. I hear everybody.
I didn't have permission to speak because I wasn't holding the microphone.
We'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Do what?
We miss you.
I don't know if Garrett's awake. Are you awake?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still getting some stuff together. I haven't been picked up yet, so they're on their way to my place right now.
Oh, I think they're gonna stop, so you might have some time.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start whenever you guys tell me. Just tell me when you're ready.
Okay, we're pulling into a gas station right now, so
Okay.
we'll be able to hear.
So we are speaking with the entire band of Adelaide, correct? Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure. And so I'm so excited to talk to you. We've been playing your music, and I didn't know who you were, obviously, until after I became a fan of your music, which I'm glad. Then I didn't have a personal bias as to whether or not to like it. I liked it straight on merit alone, and that the music was really good. I'm a big fan of people like, Zana and Skillet and, Red, and like, just, especially female fronted bands. Sorry guys, but I'm a big fan of the female fronted situation. But so I'd like to hear how your band came about.
Awesome. So, long story short, the first album, The Bigger Picture, was released in 2015, and you'll notice a huge change in the sound of the music from the first album to the one we just recently released on the 15th, The Strong and Brave. So the first album was actually a solo project, and which is, but through going to the studio is how I met Jake, the lead guitarist. And so he had a band of friends that he'd been playing with for years, which is now the band Adelaide. But he's like, hey, for your album release party, would you like to do a live show? If you need a live band, I know some guys. So they ended up playing my album release party. And then from there on out, it was basically We're Adelaide. So, we started collaborating on new music, where Jake was writing a lot of the music and I was writing a lot of the lyrics, and that's how this second album came about. So it's pretty cool.
Do you have a target audience per se? I mean, I know who I think you reach, but did you guys, actually look at trying to reach a certain type of people that maybe is not reached, or maybe not reached enough?
I think one thing, as far as target audience, definitely not something that we've just put a lot of thought into. Like, a lot of what we've done is just write really awesome music, or try to write really awesome music, and whatever is kind of going through our lives. But the first record, I know Laura very much wrote a lot of lyrics, very much directed specifically towards the church. So that was kind of, I guess, if you were looking for a targeted audience, what the first record would be. I think this one is very much geared lyrically towards people in need of hope to some degree. So,
And I love the new music. I mean, the video for Strong and Brave. I mean, first of all, because she's beautiful and makes you guys look good. But the music video is really amazing, and it looks like you guys have gotten a lot of people already viewing it, and it hasn't been about a month maybe since you put the video out there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the entire album is available now, correct, for Strong and Brave?
Correct. We've got digital download options as well as the actual physical copy, which is available on our website.
And so I have to know why the name Adelaide.
Adelaide means of noble character, and I'm a big fan of Tiffany Arbuckle, which is Plum, and she's one of the only solo projects. She came from a band, but who uses a stage name. And at first, it was really hard to find me by my name on the internet. It was kind of lost with a lot of other, Lauras that were out there. So I kind of had chosen the stage name with the help of the studio and stuff like that with the first record. So it's kind of, conformed into a band name. So I still sign Adelaide, but it's definitely something we all answer to.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I interview Plum, and then like part way into the interview, I'll say, well, Tiffany this or Tiffany that, and then I'm like, I better take that, I'll like take that out of the interview, because then they're going, who's Tiffany? Is that somebody in the band? But she's pulled it off very well. You say Plum, you're not thinking it's a stage name. You're thinking it might be her last name or something like that.
Right. Which I believe she came from a band called Plumline. And I think when she went solo, she just kept Plum.
Well, she's Plum amazing. She really is. And I really like I like the lyrics, like when just some of the lyrics and I like that you post a few of the things from that. Like, I think posting a few of your pieces of lyrics is very powerful, because there really is so much power in the lyrics. How has your songwriting been? Has it been a collaborative thing, or is somebody is that their gift to do, or is it kind of everybody?
Everybody takes part in the writing. I'd say, like, for instance, Pick Up the Pieces on this new record, and we've been playing it live for a couple years now, but it was actually written by the guys here before they even joined Adelaide. So, I mean, they find inspiration everywhere. Our drummer even talks about Krispy Kreme being a great inspiration while watching donuts being made.
That's where I usually write my songs out of Krispy Kreme.
Well, Krispy Kreme is actually the opposite for me. I pray against Krispy Kreme. I actually, not against the workers. It's the donuts themselves. My sister and I went to Chicago, and they were opening up a brand new Krispy Kreme, and they were handing out free donuts. She had 4 kids. I had 3. So you can imagine how long we stayed in Krispy Kreme. And from then on, it was then it was in the stores, so the kids were always wanting them. And, me being a good mom, I bought them, and I sampled them. And so now I don't have an excuse why they're in my home. I get lyrics too while I'm eating Krispy Kreme, because I'm I go into this kind of nirvana.
Eric once spent 5 hours in Krispy Kreme on National Donut Day.
And it wasn't frizzy at all. I was the only one in the store.
There's nothing wrong with that. Don't judge him.
Hey, no, nothing.
Those are my people.
Hey,
You
I
know,
encourage them as they check donuts through the glaze area.
don't see now. All I want to do is eat. I don't even talk about your music anymore. Just
So,
kidding.
Going back to our last question, though, about the writing, one of the things that has been very cool for me, I've sent quite a bit of music to Laura over the last few years, and it's just been incredible hearing someone else's take on kind of like the music that I will send, and then she sings a really cool melody over it. So that's been one of the unique things about this process, and just the way she writes a lot of the music. There's very intricate like pop melodies on there that are super cool that a lot of times you don't hear in rock music. So that's been a really fun collaboration for myself.
And it's really unique. And I think that the Christian market has to have more bands like your band because, I have 3 kids in their 20s and none of them are big Christian concert goers. Now, I got my kid to the Winter Jam concert this last weekend, but that's different when you've got Jen Ledger and you've got, a hip hop guy and you got like people of all different styles. But usually that's the only time I could get my kids to go, unless they were little and then I made them go. But, and then I grew up with Bart from Mercy Me, so they've been going to Mercy Me concerts since they were able to walk. So they're, I think that they still like those concerts because they love him. So they love the music, bad, good, and different. It doesn't matter. They just love it all. But like anything, even things that are higher beat than Bart's music, like a lot of times I can't get them interested in, and it's pop, rock, and hip hop. But rock is one of my daughter's only styles. And then my youngest is pop, and then my son likes it all. But that's the kids. It's pop, rock, and hip hop. There are some poor kids that have been led astray to like country music. And I'm from Texas, and if you like country music, we can still be friends. I'm just not gonna ride in your car. Like
Are we talking like 90s country music or like? 'Cause it's completely different. And we've actually even been told we sound country for like Bigger Picture. When we released Bigger Picture, are y'all a country band? I'm like, really? I don't hear that at all.
I haven't heard country yet.
Definitely don't get that from our live show.
Yeah.
I can handle like a little Keith Urban or what is the I'm trying to think of the band, like Little Big Town, or some of those. They can come up with some individual songs that I like, but for me to sit down at an entire concert, I literally got my daughter's seats at the Luke Bryan concert this last fall, and she's like, well, as much as they cost, like, don't you want to go? And I said, no, I'm paying for bigger tickets so you can take someone else, so I don't have to go. You're in your 20s now. You don't need me. I don't need to go. Now I'm going to a pop concert with one of my other daughters in May. That's different. And I'm going to Comic-Con. I'm a woman of many parts, but I can't sit through an entire country concert without heckling it, maybe. No, I grew up from Texas, so like it was kind of smushed down my throat most of my life, and it was a little hick town, still is. And so, we were like jamming to Journey and Leonard Skinner and Van Halen and all that. Like we classic rock is, I miss it. So I mean, I still listen to it, but like I've got my kids hooked on it big time. But like I love the different sounds, like Zana. I think you and Zana need a concert together. And I mean seriously, and throw Jen Ledger in there too. I won't mind that at all, because now her stuff. I have never seen her live, and I saw her at Winter Jam this last weekend, and she does a little bit, I think, closer to what you do. It's got a little pop melody thrown in with the rock, you know?
Right.
That's what it reminds me of. And
Very cool.
not a bad example to compare you to. She's also super humble and sweet, but you just don't have an English accent. That's your only drawback.
Let's work on that. Obviously, like Australia has a big music scene called Adelaide.
Ooh, Austria.
Well, Austria and Australia are different countries, but yeah, I get you.
Have you seen Dumb and Dumber?
Why do you have those two people in your band?
That was a quote, a reference. No, it wasn't.
I don't even know.
I just don't know the difference.
I don't know if they only speak in movies and The Office, I think.
Well, I have to say that I speak movie as well, and I have a daughter of mine that does too, and we have entire conversations in a room where people are clueless, looking at both of us like we've either lost our minds or we're just not interesting at all whatsoever. But that's how we talk. And we'll say a line. I'm not a fan of Dumb and Dumber, don't hate me, but it just wasn't my thing. But we now my son loves The Office, and he's excited because a lot of The Office is going to be at Motor City Comic Con this year. So he can't wait because mom has a press pass. So he's like, I just want to meet The Office. I'm like, although we're big Marvel people and all that. So that's what you need next. You need to get your music behind a film or movie. Like a TV show or anything like that. Like I noticed that rock music is getting much more used for that. And there's a lot of people putting out really great movies right now that they're picking up, artists that haven't hit it super big yet, so they can afford them. So you need to definitely keep your eyes open for that because there's, be watching some of these movie Facebooks and message them and let them know about your music. I think the Strong and Brave, album itself, I did get to sample the album, the whole thing. So I'm glad that I did before we talked. But honestly, I I don't have a favorite, although actually Strong and Brave I'm a fan of. It's hard to. I saw that you were on like Christian Rock Net. You guys were like the number one song or number one album on there.
Awesome. Yeah.
For a little while.
And then you guys have been getting some really great airplay. It's hard, is it not, about trying to get rock airplay on Christian radio?
It is. It's a small market for it right now because everybody wants more mainstream, kind of like worship. Worship is like,
The main
what everybody
style.
wants to hear right now.
They really want it to sound like they didn't even change bands. They really just want it to be like a bridge and then there's another band. But and that's what's sad about that is the kids, the young adults and even my age, with kids that age, like that's not my thing. I'm a Christian radio host, and I don't gravitate towards worship music. Now I do when I'm at church, but like, on the by and by, like that did not hold my interest at Winter Jam. And for one thing is like it's hard to get in a worship mood when I just had somebody doing R&B, like getting everybody dancing. It's hard to like like downgrade and then worship and then get ready to rock and then get ready to, come down again. And I can't. It's hard for me to do that at a concert, but even in the car, like in the afternoons, like everything I play is upbeat because I don't want them falling asleep at the wheel, but, that's something that the program directors, they like that style, the people who are deciding the music like that style because it's very safe. And I think they're afraid of anything that's got too much pop in it, too much rock, especially. And that's something that's got to change because so many people that need to be reached, that's their thing, that's their style. So what's going on with the band this year? Are you guys touring?
Absolutely.
You sure are. We're in a van right now. Garrett, what do you think?
I wish you guys had a good time though.
Have a microphone.
Yeah, Garrett doesn't have a microphone.
Oh.
I don't. I'm not allowed to speak.
Well, maybe he's been holding a microphone this whole time and he's just being courteous. I mean,
That's
I
true.
know.
That is
Totally
true.
Garrett. You don't know.
so are you guys from the same area? Or are you from all different places?
So we're pretty much all from the same area. Kind of like Laura said a while ago. Me, Jake, and Eric all grew up together, kind of in the southeast Missouri area, and have known each other for, oh gosh, I don't know, 15, 20 years now, something like that.
So since you were like 2? Yeah, I'm the older person in this conversation for sure. But I'm I'm that mom that the kids either want to go to the concert with or they really don't because and I'm going to a pop concert from this band in Canada and they're not Christian and they're just really good pop music. And my daughter, one of her friends is saying, well, I'm going to be there. And she said, my dad's taking me because it's such a long way from where we live. And she said, well, maybe your mom and my dad can like sit and chat while it's going on. And my daughter was like, are you kidding? My mom's going to be right there with me. Like, yes, I will. If there's rocking or dancing, yes, I'm going to be there and right there with her. And she doesn't get embarrassed by it though. She's like, as long as mom's buying the ticket, I could care less what she's doing. but my youngest, she's different, but she likes country music, so she's already, she's got a disability with that. So I can't trust her music at all. But anyways, so as far as I'm really curious. So as a band, is there somebody, and I guess whoever's holding the microphone, is there somebody that you have wanted to collaborate with at this point? Like somebody that would be like awesome to do like a song with, or or get on their tour? Is there somebody you got in mind?
I don't know. Oh, that's dreaming big, but I don't know. We've not really talked about that so much. I think we talked about who we wouldn't mind touring with, but actually collaborating with, that's not something we were honored to have a friend of ours, Tony Jones, do a rap on this record. So that's the first actual collaboration we've really done.
He's really good. You should look him up.
He's got amazing music and great lyrics. But I have an 8-year-old who, I guess he would have been 6.5 when we met Tony. Loved his albums. I like it too. I'm not real big into rap, but with his music, you can hear every word that he says, and it's very sing-songy kind of poetic rap. So it's really interesting.
And that goes super well with rock music, if you haven't noticed. A lot of, when you think everything, there's all these songs that says featuring Lecrae, featuring Toby Mac, it's because there's something about like hip hop and rap that goes really well with rock. I really like it. You can't put country with it. I really can't see that, but pop music goes with it. I'm even thinking you could get some Michael Bublé on there and it might work, but country, no. So I'm curious, like, I guess again, whoever's holding the mic, like, what is on your playlist, like, in your Spotify playlist or whatever? What's like a artist you listen more than anything?
Well, on my Spotify playlist, this is Eric, the drummer here speaking, and I like to listen to Wolves at the Gate. I like them a lot.
I love them.
Definitely.
We're all pretty big Wolves at the Gate fans.
Oh yeah.
I like Trip Lee.
Yeah.
Trip Lee's really good, and just to throw it off, I also like to listen to, believe it or not, the Beach Boys.
There's nothing wrong with the Beach Boys. That's classic, man.
Exactly. Oh,
thought you were gonna say like.
Boys. Oh my goodness.
I thought you were going to say Taylor Swift for a moment. I thought, where's he going with this? There's nothing wrong with
What do you have
that.
in your list, Garrett?
What do I have in my list?
Yes.
Oh,
Fitting in your Spotify playlist.
goodness. I don't know. I actually, honestly, have been listening a lot to like 90s punk stuff lately. So like My Chemical Romance and some of those guys.
Blink 182, your thing?
Yeah. I like Blink 182. Big fan of theirs. So I've been listening to some of that stuff a lot lately, and then just some, I don't know, kind of like the 2000s rock stuff. I don't know why, because I feel like it's stuff that we used to make fun of a lot. But I've been listening to like Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace and like so like old school Skillet and all that stuff.
Well, you know, Breaking Benjamin and Skillet are going to have an event, tour event together. So that's what's awesome. My son is a huge Breaking Benjamin fan and Skillet too. So to him, it was like, you know, it's like choirs playing. As soon as he found out they were going to be on Breaking Benjamin's tour, isn't that amazing? Yeah, see, I can't sing. Thank you for doing that. But like that, they really are. I mean, they're really talented. I've walked up to my son where he's like playing his stuff and I can hear it and I'm like, who is that? And there's been more than one occasion he's like, Mom, that's Breaking Benjamin. And I'm like, I really like that. I think it's important to have like all different kinds of influences in your music, and even when it comes to, you know, throwing in some country just so you know what not to do. I think that's always important. That'll steer you in the right direction. So what's going on this year? Yeah, obviously your album is out, but what else is going on for you guys this year? Are you doing any festivals or what's going on this year?
Festivals are kind of the highlight of our summer. We do a lot of festivals. We love festivals. We meet a lot of people that way. We also do a lot of youth events. So, like Life Promotions, who puts on Life Fest in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, puts on the Quake events, which hosts between 250 to 400, depending on the venue, students.
Oh, wow.
For weekend, Friday through Sunday. And we do a lot of things like that, like church camps and D-Nows around this time, worship, and stuff like that. But yeah, so we're currently still taking some booking for the year, and which my husband is actually our manager. So if you go to our website, which is at AdelaideMusic.com, we have a contact tab there where you can contact us or contact him about booking, or you know, and it kind of gives you an idea of what we do, because, I mean, even if you don't like rap, we do break down and do acoustic. We've done coffee shops before, and people are sometimes surprised to hear the same songs that we do live and we rock out in a more acoustic, you know, calm setting. But we just love, our hearts are worship and obviously people. So anything that will bridge that connection with, like you said, that about the lyrics and the writing earlier, lyrics, you know, that's the message we're sharing, and the music is kind of like the envelope that we're sending it out in to kind of minister to people.
That was super poetic, by the way.
For me personally, that's just how I relate to people. I do better writing than talking personally.
Well, I do both. I can't. I like to talk too much, so I have to write just so that, you know, I don't exhaust everyone around me. So, I write, but I don't. I write. I'm doing film writing, and then I'm writing like book stuff, and I do some like article writing and things like that. Like Say No to Country. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding about the country thing, but I write, and I'm like you. Like for me, the only thing I could play was a mean stereo, you know, like I couldn't play anything as far as like actual, like I can play the piano a little, but nothing that I would do in front of people. And so like for me, I just thought I just want to be a part of it. I grew up with Bart from Mercy Me, and like I would watch him like play a song that was about, you know, death, and someone say I needed to hear that song because I just lost my job, and that connected me with just what I needed to hear. And I was like, that wasn't even remotely what that song was about. But, you know, but it it was, I wanted to be that person that was bringing together those people and the people doing the music. And one way I could do that was being in radio. And I've helped bands in the past with booking. I've helped, I manage one still actually. But I don't do it on a large scale anymore. I think I had 12 at one time I was working with. But you know, as I got older, I started veering off into other things like other projects, and had to scale back because, you know, I think your husband can attest to it. It's a full-time job just booking
Hey,
by
Ginger?
itself. Uh-huh.
Hey, Ginger. For some reason, it sounds like you're almost putting your hand over a microphone or something. Almost like the whole time you're talking, it's not completely cutting out. It just kind of sounds like you're really far away. We ended up having to start up the van and start heading towards picking up Garrett here. So
Okay.
that's kind of added to our noise. I'm sorry, but it makes it harder to hear you.
I will tell you this, all my sound is registering perfect, and so is yours, and I'll edit out all the all the problems. So before I get off though, I want to ask, what kind of, is there any kind of stories that have really been an impactful, like people have told you how one of your songs has hit them, like, you know, hit home with them?
Yes, we after a lot of our live shows, we have a huge response to songs like "Pick Up the Pieces," "Unforsaken," and our new song "Restore Me."
Yeah.
And what's cool is, I don't know how many times during the first album that I would get frustrated with certain things, because it is really hard when you're starting out in this to juggle home life and road life and try to find an in between, because I'm a here or there person. Like, I either all in or, you know, because I get really, really overwhelmed, I guess you could say, with doing both, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seems like every time I come to that moment where I'm like, oh my goodness, I just don't know if I can do this, we'll get a message on Facebook or something where somebody reaches out, or Instagram, and says, you know, this song has really, really spoke to me. I'm so glad that you wrote it, or I feel like it was written for me. And, you know, they tell their story, and it's crazy. It'll bring tears to my eyes thinking, you know, I can't believe I even thought for a moment that I shouldn't be doing this. You know, it's just really hard, and it's definitely sacrifice to do what we do, because there's no money in music. It's not about that at all. It's a huge sacrifice for each of us to do what we do, and it's definitely gospel driven. So we love the Lord, we love His Word, and we want to share it with people.
Well,
You know, the awesome thing about this ministry is that we understand that we might just play 30 minutes on stage, 40 minutes on stage, but, you know, we spend a whole lot longer meeting with people and talking with people and making the relationships, making connections, and getting to hear their story, getting to hear how some of the songs that Laura's written, that the Pick Up Pieces where Jake, Garrett, and I have written, how that helped them, how it helped them through a difficult time, or made them realize, wow, yeah, I've been away from God for a while. Now I understand the urgency of why I should have God in my life more often, if not every day. And so those types of conversations happen because, you know, we understand that the gospel is really important to go out and share and to talk to people. And so it's one of the awesome things about this ministry that we get to do. And so getting to hear these stories and getting to have people come up to us and just talk to us, that's one of the greatest joys that we get to do this. And this is one of the main motivating stuff that, you know, I tell myself, you know, if I'm having a bad day, I always remind myself, you know, I'm going to meet with people that's going to have either a bad day or going through a certain time in their life, and I have the opportunity to share the gospel with them. And it's rewarding, exactly, and it's just refreshing to me. And it's like the Holy Spirit giving me the strength and, you know, reassuring me that, yeah, you might think that what you're going through is bad, but you have this opportunity to share hope to someone who is hopeless or someone who has forgotten the gospel.
And I think another very specific story kind of from all of us is there's a place that we play at in Princeton, Illinois, called Second Story. And that was one of the first places we ever played on our very first tour. And this Princeton, Illinois is known as like the suicide capital of Illinois. And the reason this place called Second Story started is because there's a man that had a son in school, and like 10% of the kids in his class committed suicide. And so he started this after-school ministry called Second Story, where kids could come in, have a safe environment, and get a meal, and just get loved on and stuff. But for us, that's been a really impactful place that we try to go every year, and just share the gospel with these students, because literally every kid we meet from there, and they have 100, 120 kids that will come a night, every single one of them has been affected by suicide to some degree in their life. And so it's though it's heartbreaking to hear these stories, it's very encouraging for us because we get to go and take the good news that, you know, Christ died for sinners and has saved us of our sin, and also restored us into right relationship with God. And so that's what we get to go share. And that's ultimately the one thing that will, you know, give people hope and ultimately break the pandemic of suicide, is the hope of the gospel. So
I think too that it will also influence music that you do later, is hearing these stories. It will burden your heart about certain issues that will, you know, cause different stories to come out. And some of the songs that I've heard people talk about, like why they wrote it, and when they tell me it's because of stories that were told to them by fans, those are some of the coolest songs, because it's so much richer, because it's something personal to them personally, or to somebody who came to them and told them their story, and they were burdened to write something about that particular area, you know, or write about that hope that was needed. And I think there's the saying, you know, there's no greater death than the death of hope. And it really is a time of hopelessness in America. You know, it's it's so racially charged, politically charged. You know, every issue's dissected and judged, and I just think it's a very hard time for people, especially young people, to feel like they have a safe, not only a safe place, but they have hope, like you were talking about, that that eternal hope especially, but just hope through their situation to get out of it. And you just answered a lot of my questions I was going to ask, because you talked about basically what sounds like the vision for Adelaide, and where your hearts are, and what you would like accomplish with your music, is the things that you're seeing happen. Are you coming to Michigan? That's what I need to know.
Where are we going, Michigan?
I'm between.
We are.
I'm halfway between Ann Arbor and Detroit.
I guess we're not scheduled for anything right yet.
Okay. Well,
Big Ticket Festival puts on their festival every year. We're supposed to be going to Big Ticket, but we don't have a date yet.
Well, I usually go to Big Ticket Festival. It's up north. It's about 4.5 hours from me, but usually a group of us will get together and go to that one, because it's a really great festival. I usually do the emceeing for the Battle of the Bands. They have like a indie stage for bands, and they'll do like a Battle of the Bands, and then the winner gets to play a big stage the next year, kind of thing.
Very cool.
Well, I actually have another interview coming up at 4 o'clock that I got to go to. Is there anything else that you guys want to say about the band, or that you want to promote, so that I let you? So I mean, I'm going to edit this, especially obviously, but is there anything else that you want to say about your project or your band or anything else that you need to make sure that we tell people?
Well, just where you guys can find us online. So you can find us at AdelaideMusic.com, and that will link you to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Spotify accounts. So it's pretty easy to find our music anywhere if you're on Apple Music or anything like that. So the first album came out in 2015. This new album was February 15th, so it's brand spanking new. We're really excited about it. Strong and Brave, and yeah, so you can watch some videos on our website and all that good stuff.
Well, thank you guys so much, all of you. And if Garrett's not in the car yet, thank him as well.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shern.
who is that? That's the same dude every time, right?
That was Eric.
Okay. I just want to know who the heckler is. Well, we will air this next week. I plan on airing it next Friday. But I will tag you like beforehand to let people know when it's airing, and then after I air the interview, I actually upload it to YouTube. So I'll send that link and tag you as well, and that way you can share that. It'll be an edited version of all this circus that has gone on this last hour. But I edit it down because this exact reason, because it's hard with cell phones and especially if you've got more than one person on the phone. It's a lot more fun that way, though. I like people to hear that fun behind the scenes. So, anyways, I'm so excited to share this with everybody. So next Friday, and like I said, I will post it, share it, and people can listen. We have like 4 different methods they can listen on our website. We have our own app, as well as they can get on the TuneIn app and look us up. Or they can just go to our website and listen live. If they're not, unless they're in like Southern Georgia, then they can just listen on their frequency there. So thank you so much thank you everybody for being on the interview. It's so much fun when there's more people, and I can't wait to see you in Michigan. So hook that up. If you're at the Big Ticket Festival, I will be there and I'll find you. I promise.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys stay safe on the road, and we will see you this summer.
Will do. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.